Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Intellectual Films, and today we're going over the world's greatest detective, Batman. So, quick side note before I get into my full breakdown. Batman's appearance is rather odd. I'm relatively okay with how the other characters look, besides Doomsday, when they become legendary. But Batman looked actually very cool prior to becoming a legendary character. The cowl the ears were much shorter, and he didn't have the knee pads, the utility belt, and that weird material that he's got going on in his face. Yeah, I'd like to hear from you guys and what you guys think of his appearance on Legendary mode. Again, not a fan. I'm more of a fan of the New 52 look and the Arkham series look, but I also like the classic Batman, the blue Batman per se. And I'm not a fan of the longer ears. But let's get into the breakdown of the character. So, his best ability, by far, uncontroversial, I would say, is detective work. So, detective work applies the 3 affinity buff and has a chance, a coin flip of a chance, to apply plus 35% turn meter. Now, turn meter is very important in the game, especially if you're up against a team that is likely to heal, if they're likely to put up shields, as well as if they're likely to play some AoEs or put on some buffs, then you definitely want to work the turn meter properly. So this ability is just very useful, and again, the whole turn cooldown lowers the cooldown of all the moves by 1 is certainly useful for constantly applying buffs on your team as well. So this is just overall a very useful move, and of course I have it leveled up pretty high comparatively to my other abilities. So naturally this is the one I would dump the resources towards if you are working and building Batman for PvP. His second ability, the Batarang Throw, is just his standard default hit basic attack, if you will, and it's a decent move without a doubt. I would recommend at least getting it to level 3 because again the purge buff that comes with it, again, it's not that reliable given that it is 40%, but it is definitely useful if you are trying to debuff somebody, like if Cheetah's applying buffs and so on. So the damage is serviceable, but it's not. He's definitely not made for damaging. I would definitely describe Batman as more of a support character, and this is all due to the detective work and the next move I'll get into, which is Synthesize Cure. This is a heal. In no way does it compare to somebody like Zatanna, what Zatanna can do, or for that matter, Raven, who has a very heavy heal. This is kind of this will help you survive 2 more turns if you're near death. Not the best thing to rely on, and certainly possibly not even level this up because while the debuffs is very useful. I mean, if you're working against somebody who's debuffing you like Zatanna, with that crit or what have you. It can be useful for the debuffs, but overall the heal is not something to rely on. It can get you, again, it can get you out of situations where you normally die. So in that, at least you have a heal on your team. I've seen a lot of teams that are just very aggressive teams that just don't have any heals, and at times it can work against you. Final skill, Explosive Batarangs. This is just a very, very standard AoE. It does decent damage. It's nothing like, the Dark Knight Batman's AoE that does the strength down, and it's just terrible damage overall, AoE-wise. This is okay damage. Would I recommend dumping resources in this one? Of course not. But again, I've seen on the Reddits teams that are being built specifically for AoE, so if you are trying to just build a killer AoE team, then I suppose this would be great. And again, this coincides with Batman's detective work, so you can get those AoE offs much faster. And his final ability, which is his team leader. Again, not many characters have team leaders in this game, so team leaders bonuses should be very important and they should be very useful, I would say. In this case, it's really not. all allies have a 5% chance to purge 1 buff. Now, I would totally understand if you are playing against a team that's, again, constantly employing buffs on itself. I would totally understand you using this as leadership. But this would only be useful if you have a team that does not use crit rate up, they don't use intelligence up, they don't use shields, really, they don't employ shields themselves. In other words, you have to use a team that's constantly attacking all the time to really take full advantage of this leadership. So it's a very weird double-edged sword here, because then by definition you're playing an aggressive team, undoubtedly. And overall, I just think you have better team leader options. Again, Green Lantern has a great one. Lex Luthor has a great one. Those are the only ones that I really would entertain. So that is my breakdown right now. Again, I don't see the leveling up being worth it at all. Just on the legendaries abilities right here, I don't think, besides the second one, I really don't like any of them, honestly. So I really don't have any advice to give you guys on what to do with your legendary points if you do get them to legendary 2. I guess it would depend on the team you're building. So again, guys, that is the breakdown that I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Again, make sure to leave a comment on what you guys think of the world's greatest detective, Batman, and how you're using him in PvP. Hope to see you guys tomorrow, and again, have a good day.